Welcome to another Coffee with Colin, and thanks for tuning in. The objective behind this series of Coffees with Colin is whereby I take snippets from my book, Feeding Johnny How to Build a Business Despite the Roadblocks, share the snippet on a weekly basis, share a different snippet on a weekly basis, the lessons contained therein, in the hopes that by me sharing them out there, it'll afford you a shortcut where back in the day I had none. Okay, this week's Coffee with Colin centres around a topic that I cover in my book called Hedgehog for Breakfast. Okay, and it talks about a concept, the hedgehog concept of business. There is one, hedgehog concept of business, which is detailed in a book called Good to Great by Jim Collins. It's definitely worth a read. But let me relate the story to you very briefly here, if I may. First question is, what do hedgehogs do best in the world? And the answer is they protect themselves. Hedgehogs are the very best in the world at being hedgehogs. And when they're in danger, hedgehogs, as you know, curl up in a ball, and they use that prickly, spiny exterior to protect themselves. So here's the story. There's a little hedgehog mooching along, doing whatever hedgehogs do early one morning. And he's going along a hedgerow. And at the very end of the hedgerow, he's unaware at the start that there's a crafty fox waiting. And the crafty fox wants hedgehog for breakfast. Okay? But of course, the hedgehog, as he gets closer, hedgehogs being the very best in the world at being hedgehogs, his hog senses start tingling, I assume, and he does what he does very best in the world. He curls up in a ball to protect himself. And of course, the fox lunges to try and get hedgehog for breakfast. Instead, he gets a nose full of spines and yelps and heads off to lick his wounds and think of tomorrow's crafty plan as to how he's going to have hedgehog for breakfast. In the meantime, little hedgehog here, very best in the world at being a hedgehog, gets up and goes about his happy little life, mooching around, doing whatever hedgehogs do. Now, what's that got to do with business? Well, the hedgehog concept of business challenges you and I to ask ourselves three fundamental questions. First one is, what can you be the best in the world at? Not what can you be just like your man down the road at? Not what can you be just like your woman in the next town at? It asks you and me to ask ourselves, what can you be the best in the world at? It might not even be what you're involved in today. And the second question that the hedgehog concept of business poses for you and I is, what are you passionate about? Because if you're not passionate about whatever it is you think you want to be the best in the world at, first of all, you won't be the best in the world at it, guaranteed. And secondly, it'll just be too much hard work. If you want to start a business and you're not passionate about it, please don't. Please stay working for somebody else, because if you think you're working hard for somebody else now, that's nothing compared to what you'll do if you start working for yourself. So if you're going to start working for yourself, you're going to start building a business, make sure you're passionate about it. And the third element in the hedgehog concept of business, third question it asks you and I to ask ourselves is, what drives our economic engine? Now, we don't have time to get into that today, but we've got to find out in very short succession, we've got to find out what elements in our business do we need to measure on a daily, weekly and monthly basis to make sure that our businesses are on track. And so to recap, the hedgehog concept asks, what can you be the best in the world at? What are you deeply passionate about? And what drives your economic engine? Because if you can ask all those three questions and answer them succinctly, well then, my friend, you've got an opportunity to build something significant. If any one of those three is missing, I'd suggest and urge caution. Wish you well. And so thank you for joining me for this week's Coffee with Colin, and I hope you got something from it. What I'd ask you to do is that you apply what's been shared here today into your thinking, into your decision-making process for the next week or so. If you think somebody else would benefit, please pass the link on. If it's your first time joining me and you'd like more of this type of stuff, ColinO'BrienMotivation.com, and we'll send you a link on a weekly basis. And then most importantly, come back next week, please, for another coffee. We'll have a coffee together. I'll share some other snippets, some other insights, and see where they lead. Delicious. Talk to you soon. Have a great week. Bye for now.